Okay, quick review of payback period. So again, how many years or how many periods, but years in this case, must we wait to get our initial investment back? Well, if we spend $50,000 today, this is simply asking when will our future cash flows sum to $50,000? So $30,000 and $20,000, we've now recovered our initial investment. In this case, it's 2 years. What if we said our initial investment was $55,000? How long will it take to pay back? Well, we know year 1 we get 30, year 2 we get 20, so now we're at 50, we need 55. But year 3 we'd be at 60. So we don't need all of year 3, we need some portion of it. We need $5,000 more dollars of our $10,000 future cash flow. So in this case, we're at 2.5 years for payback. So now we go into discounted payback, and it's a similar idea. How long will it take to get our initial investment back, which was $300? And now we say, okay, well, if we do payback period, it'd be $100, $200, $300. It would take 3 years. And we see that here, our undiscounted cash flows. But discounted payback means, well, what are the present values of each of these numbers? Then do the same process. How long will it take to get our initial investment back? So in the case, this value's 89, this 100, second year 1 discounted back 79, and you see these numbers here. So how long will it take? It'll take the 89 plus the 79 gives us 168, plus another 70 gives us 238, plus another 62 gives us the 300. So then we're at 4 years if we follow the discounted payback method, which includes considerations of time value of money. Now, what is the internal rate of return? It is the value, the percentage return at which NPV would be equal to 0 for a specific investment. So again, if we take a look here and say, let's follow this one. If we know something costs $435.44. That's the initial cost. The cash flows are 100 in the first year, 200 in the second year, 300 in the third year. What is the IRR of the investment? And if we require an 18% rate of return, what would we take this investment or not? Well, so what this one first does is says, what is the NPV at different discount rates? So if we did no discounting, right, if we were able to go back here, then these are all present values. They don't decrease in value through time. So they would be 100, 200, 300, which would be $600. So that's the present value of the future cash flows, $600. Now, how did they arrive at this 164.56? Well, 600 inflow, present value, minus 435.44 outflow, present value, equals the 164.56. Now let's say that our discount rate or required rate of return was 5%. So we have to discount each of these at 5%. The last one would be 300 divided by 1.05 to the third power. We would sum those up. They would be worth approximately $535. And the reason I know that is because that 100 represents X minus the initial investment equals 100.36. Same with the next one. Now, where's the IRR fall? The IRR must be 15%. It means that if each of these cash flows grew at 15% or earned 15%, meaning we discounted them back, it would sum to where 435.44 would be the present value of the inflow, and 435, wrote that backwards, 435.44 would be the present value of the outflow. Therefore, when you subtract them, you get 0. That is the IRR. Now, if we require an 18% return, would we take on this investment? No. 18 falls right here. Well, as you can see, we positive, positive, positive. We hit 0. This is going to be negative. This one's going to be negative. 30% return, negative required rate of return. And so that's how IRR functions. So it has its direct relationship with the NPV, except if there's problems with the conventional version of cash flows. Again, this one was conventional. Negative, positive, positive, positive for the life of the project. Now lastly, the profitability index. If we did it for the question above, let's say the value of 10% required rate of return. So we know that the present value, let me write it out what NPV is here. So the present value of inflows minus the present value of outflows is equal to what our net present value number is. So in this case, if we know 435.44 is the present value of the outflows, and at a 10% discount rate, 46.15 is our NPV. Then we know that the present value of our inflows must be $46.15 plus 435.44. The present value of the inflows must be 481.59. Now, if this is the present value of our inflows, and we follow the profitability index, and we do 481.59 divided by our initial investment, 435.44, we're at 1.106, except if profitability index is greater than 1. Accept this project. What else can we look at? Would we accept it using the NPV and IRR analysis? We'd accept it because the NPV is positive. We would accept it because the required rate of return is lower than the internal rate of return. The internal rate of return 15. Lower than the internal rate of return.